I accidentally developed a superpower in my childhood, a superpower that shaped the way I showed up as an interpreter, and all because I wasn't allowed to react. When I was like little, I didn't know that I was dyslexic, so I kept being moved from school to school to find one that I would thrive in. At the time, it was said that there was this school that had great support and all that, but it was in a different tribe, and they spoke Yoruba, and I didn't know a word of this. My parents, however, were very worried because it's going to be in a boarding school, it was out of town. They were worried that I would bully because I didn't understand the language and, didn't know anything. So they wanted me to stay with the seniors, which was like the high school people, like they were in the final years of secondary school. They wanted me to just stay in the board with them, and then I'll go into classes and all those things. And they agreed on one condition, that I didn't understand the language. I didn't. So I was allowed to stay with them. And yeah, so I just stayed. And I guess my survival in that space depended on me not knowing what was being said. However, over time, I started picking the language. I started understanding what they were saying about the boys, about themselves, about what's going on. I got it. But I knew that I couldn't react. So I understood everything, but I couldn't react. I would laugh inside. I would like chuckle and all those things. And when they got talking or when things were happening, they would like look and like, then there's no saying, and there's no laughing. They're laughing out loud. They're talking and all those things. But I said nothing. I was like in my thing because I just want the safety of this. And this just went on for long, and I was just picking and stuff like that. That no one knew that I was understanding what they were saying, even in classes, even when they even talked about me, like I said nothing. Until it was like, it was time to go back home. This is the irony of this thing. I went back home. And I'm now in my own, when you feel safe and like you're home and you can express yourself, you can do whatever that, you couldn't where you were. And and then you ask me a question at home. And guess what? I would respond in Yoruba. I would just speak in Yoruba freely. And the people next door who were Yoruba, I was just like having conversation, and my parents were like, is this what you went to school to do? Like you are now like speaking a whole new language that wasn't what we signed up for. This is not what we came up with. Like, and then this decided like, you know what? You ain't going back. Like this is, I'm like, no, if you go and ask them, no one would believe that I am speaking this. It's just, and it's one of those things that I couldn't switch off because I'm free. Like I was just responding. So I think I was even making things worse for myself by speaking the language. Was fast forward this years on. And now, as an interpreter, and I'm going into the field and I'm doing all these things, that I feel like that has become a way that I created a space of safety for like people to be like vulnerable, like not reacting to what's been said or how like what the situation is. I remember one appointment where it was back in the days where saying that you were gay or like lesbian at the time, what I wouldn't necessarily say frowned upon, but it was kind of like they didn't feel the comfort, or there was still a bit of judgment or feel of oh, you guy kind of like thing. And I remember this appointment, this person came on, and you can see they were anxious already. You can feel like I have to say this through someone else to tell this person so that I can get the help that I need. And the tense in them, the way they were acting, and you can just see like they were not free to even just say. So when it got to the point of, asking a question and like what's going on and everything, and he's like, oh, you can just like see them like, looking like, how's she gonna say it? How are they gonna react? It's not even about who I am conveying the message to me as the interpreter in that situation. And he just said, yeah, I'm gay. And I just went, oh, because I'm gay. And then pause. And then you can just see like, oh, like shoulders that was tense, relaxed. And it was now kind of like able to then give more and they're comfortable with that. And it wasn't a case of like, oh, okay. It was so beautiful to see the relief of like, oh, there was no judgment there. I'm comfortable in myself here and I can just express myself and get the help that I needed. And just looking back and reflecting, it was like, oh, this is so great. And I remember co-working with someone who something was said, I think, oh, like you could just see them react before they gave the message. And it made the situation very awkward for the person, the deaf person receiving the message. And, on reflection, I would have done that differently. And if I was doing that, I would have reacted, I would have given it and then taken on from there. Then, like that kind of like situation. And it's like, even like sometimes when people will crack jokes and will say stuff, and I'll just act as if I didn't hear it. Like just have that neutral thing. It's like, and they'll probably say it in a different way and I'll still act like that, yeah, like, it's people be laughing like, because I don't agree with it or like whatever that is. And it's now something that I just feel like there's a sense of that safety that I bring, that presence of like my profession here, my presence here is a space of no shame, no judgment, no justification. You come in, I give what it is, like is that interaction, and then I move on. It's got nothing to do with you and whoever it is that I'm interpreting for. I don't have to bring in my own agenda or my own feeling or whatever it is towards that. I'm there to do a role, and once that role is over, I move on. That's it. And that has given people that have reacted with some sense of comfort and ability to express themselves, that they don't feel like, oh, now this person's now like looking at me two ways, or like they're judging me for my choices, or they're this or that or whatever that is. And my presence, I feel, doesn't give that when I'm in my role as an interpreter. So yeah, it's one of those things that, when you look back, it's like, oh, this survival thing, or this thing that's happened to me, then like you feel it's like, that's the worst thing. I know someone who, as a child, the only child, and they had no, so they always was like go to the library and get like audio tapes and just listen and listen. And now they've developed that ability to be a great listener and to be able to ask questions. And they've started this podcast where there's such brilliant host and interviewer, and like really getting the root that when people like come up from that, they're like, wow, like this is like, you ask great questions. I didn't even like think to, or like I felt because of what had happened to them, that felt like, oh, I didn't have a great childhood or odd childhood or whatever that is. Now that ability is now something of a superpower that you're using to showcase oneself. So yeah, so it's just being reflective that sometimes when we go through stuff or when things happen to us, it's not like, we can always see like, the lessons we can learn. It can also be an anchor of who we are or how we are very we're there in that power. Or like I remember one of my mentors who, like, his dad, he used to like drink and like, so was very like protective of his mom and like stuff like that, that now they can just be able to read people's characters or like know like how to like, okay, I know how to relate it to you, or like how to like deflect things or do whatever. So yeah, like this is a way to just reflect, like, what, even though that might not have been a thing, now I'm able to just use that to my advantage, or to like support me in what I do, or see it in a whole different light, So yeah, it's one of those things that, yeah, I could have like, poker face. Not that I play poker, but I think I'll be good at that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those great opportunities for like just showcasing oneself. What is one thing from your childhood that you thought like, oh my goodness, was like a disadvantage or like a lack that now you're like reflecting and it's like, wow, because of now I can. Like, let's have that conversation in the comment section. Till tomorrow. Bye for now.